Have you ever felt like someone was pulling the strings in your life without you even knowing? Maybe they made you question your own reality or controlled how you felt, almost like they were playing a game and you didn't even know the rules. If so, you might have been dealing with someone using dark psychology. You might think, wait, dark psychology? What's that even mean? It sounds like something out of a movie, right? But here's the thing, dark psychology is real and it's happening around us every day. And guess what? Most of us don't even realize when we're being manipulated. In today's video, we're going to uncover 15 hidden signs that someone could be using dark psychology against you. Most people miss at least half of these, so pay close attention. And don't worry, I'm not here to make you paranoid. I'm here to give you the tools to spot these tactics before they can hurt you. Sign 1, the constant need to be right. Ever had a conversation with someone where they just couldn't let it go? Even when they're wrong, they'll argue endlessly. It's almost like they need to be right about everything to feel good about themselves. This is one of the first signs of dark psychology. People who constantly need to be right are often using manipulation to make you doubt yourself. They'll twist facts, ignore your perspective, or even gaslight you into thinking you're wrong when you're not. I've been there before. One time, a friend of mine kept insisting I misremembered something I'd clearly told them earlier. At first, I started to doubt myself, but then I realized they were just manipulating me to feel small and insecure. Sign 2, playing the victim. Manipulators are experts at turning themselves into the victim. If you've ever been around someone who seems to always be the one who's wronged, even when they're the ones causing trouble, that's a huge red flag. They'll make you feel sorry for them, making it almost impossible to hold them accountable for their actions. This tactic makes you feel guilty for something that wasn't even your fault. You start apologizing even when you didn't do anything wrong. It's a classic way to make you feel emotionally responsible for their behavior. And it works, because we all want to be kind and empathetic, right? Sign 3, excessive flattery. This one might seem harmless, but think about it. Have you ever met someone who showered you with compliments that just felt a little too much? They praise everything about you, even your smallest actions. At first, it feels great to be admired. But here's the catch. Excessive flattery is a manipulation tactic used to lower your guard. The more they praise you, the more you're likely to trust them or agree with them, even if their intentions aren't pure. One time, I had a coworker who constantly complimented my work, almost too much. At first, I thought it was nice, but I soon realized that every compliment came with an underlying ask. They were trying to make me feel indebted to them, so I do them favors. Sign 4, gaslighting. Now here's one that's often talked about but still so sneaky. You're dealing with gaslighting. It's when someone makes you question your reality. They deny things they said or did, and slowly they make you feel like you're losing your mind. It's incredibly dangerous because it leaves you unsure of your own memory and perception. Have you ever had someone say, "I never said that," or "You're just imagining things"? If you've been there, that's gaslighting at work. It can really mess with your confidence and self-trust. Sign 5, withholding information. Another sneaky tactic is withholding information. Have you ever been in a situation where you felt like you were kept in the dark about something important? A person using dark psychology will intentionally leave out key details to keep you confused or misinformed. This can make you feel uncertain or dependent on them for the truth. I had a colleague once who would withhold key information, leaving me to figure things out on my own. It created a sense of dependency on them, until I realized they were doing it on purpose to keep control over the situation. Sign 6, playing on your insecurities. Dark psychology can also show up when someone plays on your insecurities. They know your weaknesses and they use that knowledge to manipulate your emotions. This can be something small, like calling attention to a flaw you're sensitive about, or something more serious, like bringing up past failures to make you feel bad about yourself. Once, a person I knew would make subtle comments about my appearance. hinting that I wasn't as good looking as others in our group. It wasn't direct bullying, but those little jabs started to chip away at my self-esteem. Sign 7. Creating emotional chaos. Here's one that can be really tricky: creating emotional chaos. Manipulators often thrive in environments where they can keep you emotionally off balance. They might start arguments, create unnecessary drama, or constantly shift the emotional tone of a situation. This chaos makes it harder for you to think clearly and make rational decisions. If you've ever been around someone who always seems to stir up trouble and leave you feeling emotionally drained, it's a sign that they might be using this tactic to keep you confused and distracted. Sign 8. Keeping you isolated. Isolation is a key tactic in dark psychology. If someone is trying to keep you away from your friends, family, or support network, it's a huge red flag. Manipulators will try to convince you that others don't have your best interests at heart. Slowly, they make you dependent on them, which makes it harder to break free. I've seen this happen with relationships where one partner isolates the other from friends, convincing them that everyone else is bad influence. It's a way to create control by cutting you off from any outside perspectives. Sign 9. Overloading you with complaints. Have you ever had someone in your life who constantly complained about everything? They complain about their job, their friends, their life. Everything seems like a never-ending cycle of negativity. While venting is normal, constant complaining is a tactic manipulators use to keep you focused on their problems, rather than your own. They may drain you emotionally, leaving you feeling sorry for them and more likely to do what they want. This tactic can be especially manipulative in relationships, whether romantic or friendship-based. They don't let you focus on your needs and constantly demand your emotional energy. It's a way of controlling the situation without you even realizing it. Sign 10. The double bind dilemma. This one is a sneaky trick that often flies under the radar. The double bind happens when someone puts you in a situation where no matter what you do, you're wrong. They'll give you two options, both of which lead to negative outcomes for you. For example, they might say, if you go to this event, you'll be boring and predictable, but if you don't go, you'll seem antisocial. Either way, you're set up to fail in their eyes. I've had a manager before who would give me tasks in such a way that no matter how I responded, I was criticized. It felt like I couldn't win, and I started questioning my decisions constantly, not realizing they were intentionally setting me up. Sign 11. The silent treatment. The silent treatment is another common manipulative tactic. Instead of openly confronting an issue, a manipulator will shut down communication entirely. It leaves you feeling confused, anxious, and desperate for a resolution. They control the situation by making you feel like you're walking on eggshells, waiting for them to decide when they'll speak to you again. This tactic is often used in relationships to make you chase after their approval or affection. The silence makes you doubt yourself, which is exactly what they want. You're forced to play their game and meet their emotional needs without knowing exactly what they want. Sign 12. Using your good nature against you. Manipulators are keen observers of your personality, and they know exactly how to exploit your kindness. If you're the type of person who likes to help others, they might take advantage of that by constantly asking for favors or making you feel responsible for their problems. They know you're not the type to say no, and they'll use that to their advantage. A friend of mine was always asking for help, whether it was for small tasks or huge favors. Problem was, she never really returned the favor when I needed it. It started off small, but over time, I realized that she was using my good nature to get what she wanted, without offering anything in return. Sign 13. Flipping the script or blaming you. This one can be especially disorienting. Manipulators love to turn the tables and make you feel like you're the one causing problems. Instead of taking responsibility for their actions, they'll accuse you of being the problem. This is also a way to distract you from the real issue at hand and make you question your behavior. I remember a time when I was working on a project with a colleague. I had asked for help, but instead of assisting, they blamed me for making mistakes. It was their way of shifting the focus away from their lack of support. It felt like I was the one who was failing when in reality, they were the ones not pulling their weight. Sign 14. The love bombing phase. This one happens at the start of a relationship or friendship, where the manipulator showers you with love, attention, and gifts. It feels amazing at first, and you might even think you've found someone truly special. However, the goal of love bombing is to hook you in and make you dependent on them emotionally. Once you're emotionally invested, they begin to pull away, leaving you wanting more. I've seen it happen in both romantic relationships and friendships. Someone will make you feel like the most important person in the world, but once they have you hooked, they start to use your emotions to control you. It's one of the most subtle ways to manipulate someone because it feels like love at first, but in reality it's a setup. Sign 15. The I told you so moment. Finally, manipulators love to say, I told you so, especially when you didn't listen to their advice. When they get you to make a decision or take an action, and it doesn't turn out the way you hoped, they'll throw it back in your face. It's their way of reinforcing control over you, showing that they were right all along. And the next time, you'll be more likely to trust them without question. This happens in friendships and even work relationships. They might give you advice that seems harmless at first, but when things don't go as planned, they'll remind you of their wisdom, making you feel like you owe them something for saving you from failure. Conclusion. Now that we've uncovered 15 signs someone might be using dark psychology against you, you might be wondering, how do I protect myself from these tactics? Here's the thing. The first step is recognizing when these behaviors are happening. Awareness is power. Start paying attention to how people treat you and whether they use any of these manipulation tactics. And remember, it's okay to set boundaries. Don't be afraid to stand up for yourself, say no, or walk away from toxic relationships. It's important to surround yourself with people who respect you for who you are and don't try to control you. And most importantly, trust your instincts. If something doesn't feel right, don't brush it off. Trust your gut, and always seek support from people who have your best interests at heart.